So we will continue with the page number 7 of the story M. Hamel, which we were doing. Okay, the story, the last lesson of M. Hamel. Now he has mentioned what? The French language is the ultimate language and the best language in the world, and it is the clearest and the most logical that we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. Now he has mentioned that to open any kind of lock, to open any kind of things, it is the own language, it is their own language which is the key to solve those puzzle, to open that prison. Whether it's a very enslaved kind of thing, whether it's any kind of problem which they are in, this is a very fast way to open any kind of problem, and that is their own language. And if they know it, if they learn it, if they are able to communicate in that language, then only they will be able to unlock the prison, means unlock the problem. Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. Now M. Hamel, opening his grammar book, he started reading the lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. I think too that I had never listened so carefully. Now our writer told what that day when the teacher M. Hamel explained anything, whatever topic he was dealing with, it was quite so clear, it was very understanding, and he understood everything. Alfonso, the writer, understood everything. And whatever the teacher has explained, it went into his brain very much nicely, without any odds. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away, and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. While he was teaching, while M. Hamel was teaching, it was looking as if he wanted to give all which he had in himself, because it was the last lesson, and it was looking as if he in just one go, he just eager to give all his, what he possesses within himself. Head stroke means what? Exactly in one go, in one strike only, he just wanted to give it. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. That day, M. Hamel had new copies for us. Now he is mentioning what? Now after that lesson of grammar, he had something about writing also to be taught. And that day, M. Hamel had a new copies for the students, written in a beautiful round hat, French, Alsace, French, Alsace. Now in his book, it was written about those very name of that places of that French, Alsace, and then next is French, Alsace, French. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolrooms, hung from the rod of the top of the desks. Now in the entire class, from the desk, from the walls, it was hung and it was looking like a flag. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work and how quiet it was. Everyone was doing their own work, everyone was so emotional, so isolated within themselves, thinking just about the teacher M. Hamel and the journey which he has gone through, and they were feeling so bad that they were very much silent, they were very much calm, composed, relaxed, focused. Right? Not a single word was being uttered over there, and they were busy in their own work. There were no sound, the only sound was coming of what was the scratching of the pens over the paper. Once some beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them, not even the littlest one, who worked right on tracing their fish hooks as if that was French too. Now when the beetles, when any kind of insects creeped in the classroom, nobody even paid attention to that one. Not even the slightest or the smallest thing which was there in the room. They also didn't pay attention. Means the lizards and all, when they are eager to catch those kind of beetles, they also didn't, as it was looking like they are also a part of a French one, they are also a French people. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German? even the pigeons. Now it was looking as if the pigeons was there, okay, on the roof part, okay, they were cooking very low voice, and it was looking as if they will also singing of what in the German language. Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gauging first one thing. Now we mentioned what? Now when our writer, after writing it down, whenever he used to lift his face, he saw, when he used to see M. Hamel, it was as if the M. Hamel was just gazing, okay, at one thing, then after another thing, and it was a mixed kind of mind which was going over there from the little classroom. He saw what that M. Hamel is busy engaging the different things in the classroom, and he was being very much, okay, fixed eyesight was there as if he was gazing at it. Fancy, for 40 years he had been there in the same place with his garden outside in the window and his class in front of him. Just like that. Okay, and he mentioned what? It is quite fancy. For the 40 years he has been in this class with a class having a garden beside it, and it was like that, and he never paid so much of attention to those very things, and he was familiar with all those parts, what was there in the class, what was there outside, but still he was watching all those things as if it is so connected, okay, to his heart. Only the desks and benches had been worn so smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hopvine that he had planted himself twined about the windows of the roof. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man. Now he mentioned what? He only the desk and the benches has worn so smooth. Means that it has been there all day long, and everything, the gardens and the trees has grown, he has watered it, and it was also connected to him, right, to his heart. How it must have, and it must have broken his heart, it was so emotional, okay, living, and that's why he mentioned that it is very much connecting to him. How it must have broken the heart of it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the other room, packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day. And the class was going on, and there was a voice creeping from the out. It was being audible that something is being arranged. The sister is arranging some stuffs. Okay, the trunks and all being removed over there. The sound was coming. Okay, and because they were about to leave the very next day. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their Babe Bibo Bibu. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and, holding his primer in his both hands, spelled the letter with them. Now over there it was like that, it was very much being that courageous one, because he was very emotional, but still he wanted to finish out that lesson quite nicely, quite appropriately, because he was never the person who just leave any kind of thing in the middle. So he wanted to complete it. So after the lesson of grammar, now the writing part was done, and next lesson was about that history, in which the babies chanted their Ba baby go down, okay, and down there the room, the hostel which we have studied at the back, he put on his spectacles and, holding the primer, he started reading about the thing. He spelled it. You could see that he too was crying. This hostel was also very much emotional, and he was also crying. His voice trembled and it was cracking, and it was visible that his voice is very much emotional, okay. And it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Oh, how well I remember it, that last lesson. And that part, it was looking, while his voice was breaking, while his voice was cracking, it was looking so emotional. At the very same moment, it was looking very funny, as they wanted to laugh and they wanted to cry at the very same time. It is so connected. We can feel those things. So when certain things happen, we can feel those things. Okay, how it looks like. Okay, how bad we feel about certain things. Sometimes we tend to smile, and sometimes we, at the very same time, it's a flip of the second, and we feel like crying at that very moment. All at once, the church clock struck 12. Then the Angelus. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Persian. And at that very moment, when these classes were going on, Okay, the clock over there of the church struck 12, and then the angels at the same moment the trumpet of the Persian returning from the drill sounded under our windows, and Hamel stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. Now everything was looking as if it is a term of summing up, a kind of ending is coming near. And the trumpet sound with the Persian peoples were doing the drills. They were near the window and they were trumpeting it. And at that very moment, M. Hamel stood up and he was looking so tall figured in the sense not his height has increased, but that moment, that emotional attachment was there. That's why it was looking as if he has grown up, he has achieved such a great height. My friends, said he, means M. Hamel now, these are his words, which I will be speaking it up. I means a kind of breaking of the voice was there, a stammering was there, but something choked him, he could not go on. Choked means what? Blocked his, blocked his neck part, and throat part, and he is not able to speak properly, And then again he continued, then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as his could. Because he was not able to speak, he took out a piece of chalk and he turned towards the blackboard and he wrote over there with all his might, with all the strength which he was having. He wrote with that one, in a very large words as he could, means till what a strength he was having, he just tried to sum up all those strength and mention it out. Vive la France. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed, you may go. He wrote down Vive la France and he stopped and he leaned on the wall, and without uttering a single word, he just mentioned about, he just gave a gesture from his hand that you all can leave the class, the school is dismissed, you may go. Means how emotionally the story has ended, it tells us. Generally we also do feel in our life, in our daily life, sometimes when we feel certain things, we can link those moments with this kind of story, that how emotional the moments become, how painful the moments become, when it comes to such kind of things. So we will meet in the next chapter, which we have got from the Vistas one, the last level, or I will be starting the last spring of this very chapter. Go through few words which is mentioned over there. Like we have got cranky, strange, commotion ka matlab confusion, rapping ka matlab striking. In unison means what? At the same time. Apprentice is that only means the training, the things which is used to have something. So signing it out, we will meet. Bye and take care.